Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be exploring an important aspect as it relates to examination tips, which is what to do on the very day of your examination. So imagine yourself as a student the night before. You've read all the study materials, you've read lengthy hours, but then it's the D-Day, the day of your examination. Now there are some important things which left unobserved can impact on your confidence as well as your composure. You don't want to be walking into the examination hall feeling less composed or feeling less confident of yourself, as this will affect your examination success. So this is why we're going to be sharing this very tip on what you should do on the very day of your examination, most especially as it relates to computer-based examination. Observation of this can actually boost your confidence as well as boost your composure. And of course, this would have a positive impact on your examination grade. So stick to the very end of this video to learn about this. Let's get started. So it's the day of your examination. The very first thing you should try as much as possible to observe on that day as it relates to your computer-based examination or even your examination in general is arrive early. Arriving early for your examination, most especially as it relates to computer-based examination, actually allows you to acclimate to the environment. Don't be that guy that comes rushing into the examination hall just when others are seated or even going through their computer-based exam and then you just bust in. Even if you're allowed to write that very particular exam, what this does to you is that it actually distracts you. This is because as you start off, you always have this feeling that you're behind time. And that's only because you came late for the examination. And do you know what this does? This actually affects your confidence as well as your composure. And of course, this will trickle down to having a negative effect on your examination success. So in whatever preparation you're going to be having on the very day of your examination day, especially as it relates to computer-based exam, always make sure to be there as early as possible, at least 30-20 minutes before the start off of the exam. And while you're trying to arrive early, always make sure you have this next point in mind, which brings us to the second one, which is bring all necessary documents. There are certain computer-based examination or even examination in general that actually requires you to show some form of identification. This shows that you're eligible to take the exam. As a student, this could be your student's ID, or in fact, this could be like a slip that shows that you registered for such examination. So always make sure that before you leave your home, you're actually with all of the necessary documents needed to sit for such exam. This will actually save you a lot of stress. So while you're in the examination hall and then you're seated with your computer right in front of you, there is something necessary that you need to carry out. This brings us to the third one, which is technical check. Before you log in your details for any computer-based examination, always make it your own point of responsibility to carry out a little technical check, no matter how little it is. These technical checks could simply just be you checking if the mouse actually works fine, if the keyboard actually works fine, if the internet access is active. All these little things can actually become a huge problem as soon as you start off and then you neglect them. And then this time around, you have your time counting down and then you're trying to rectify such issue. This is completely going to distract you. So always make sure to carry out a little technical check before you start off your examination, as you could easily just call the attention of the invigilator to that very issue to rectify it before you start off. And we move over to the next one, which is listen to instructions carefully. Always make sure to listen to instruction given by the invigilator, most especially as it pertains to that very examination. I once wrote an exam, a computer-based examination, where we were told to skip the first 10 questions of the examination. This was because the questions actually had errors in them. So imagine a situation where if I wasn't listening to the instruction and I get to choose whatsoever thing I felt was the answer to this question, I would automatically fail them because it's the computer that gets to mark all of these questions. But then since it was an instruction from the invigilator, this becomes a bonus mark for everyone who didn't choose any of the answers in the first 10 questions. With the instructions clear, take a moment to. This brings us to the next one. Stay calm and focused. As you go through your computer-based question, always try as much as possible to be as calm as you can. Even if you feel that you actually read less for such examination, being calm actually helps you to remember the much that you can. Being nervous, even if you've read much, you actually tend to remember less of what you've actually read. So as you go through your questions, always take deep breaths, be as calm and focused as you can. Avoid any form of distractions and remain focused, as this actually reduces your chances of making silly, costly mistakes. And as you're going through this question, it is very essential for you to. This brings us to the last one on the list, which is time management. Computer-based examination always has a time frame allocated for such exam. This could be like 20 minutes for you to answer a total of about 70 questions or whatsoever. This is why it is very important for you to manage your time wisely, as soon as you start off your question. Because as soon as you put in your detail, your time starts counting down. What this automatically means is that you shouldn't spend much time on a particular question, especially a difficult question. Myself, I don't spend much time on lengthy questions because this will actually require me needing more time to actually read through this lengthy question. So what I do is that I skip the difficult questions, I skip the lengthy questions, and then I try to answer other ones, and then I come back later to actually go through them. So always make sure that as you're going through your computer-based examination that you're actually time conscious. With these tips in mind, I believe you're now ready to conquer your computer-based examination day. This brings us to the very end of this video. In case you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share. And hit on the notification bell to continue to be updated as we posting more examination tips like this very one. See you in the next video. Thanks.